that she can tend to lean upon you and find support there that makes her comfortable enough not to have to pay attention to the inner things that she has to examine. That's the best way I can put it into words. Do not, in your interaction with her, convey or imply that you're willing to put energy into helping her carry the burden, if you will. Ask her, what does she plan on doing in light of the situation? Draw out from her information that requires her to be introspective, you see. Don't be there supplying answers, because this is a situation, a point in her life where she has to find the answers within her so that she can make commitment to them and thus establish a better demonstration of integrity. Okay.
The next question is from Isabella. How can I become more integrated and open and not be so judgmental with myself, to unblock the energies and have more flow? Thank you, Raj. With love, Isabella.
Well, you know, to be aware of things that need correction, to be straight and honest with yourself, about yourself, does not require judgment to come into play or assessment about your nature and your character and your consistency or whatever it might be. There are two things you need to do. One is you need to be very practical about some mental habits, some habits of attitude that need to be changed. But the other thing that you need to do is to take notice of what needs to be changed and treat them as bits of information, if you will. Bits of information that do not call upon you to evaluate yourself. This is the key. You have a habit of noticing things that need correction, but then instead of addressing the correction and just, so to speak, cleaning up the mess, you get into self-judgment, having an opinion about yourself. You could one day get up in the morning and go out into the rest of your house and notice that it's a mess, that you let things get away. There's dust all over. You need to dust and you need to vacuum. Well, those are just bits of information. Yes, I need to dust, okay. How do I dust? Well, I get a rag and I dust. And so the way to correct the need is to get a dust cloth and dust. It doesn't require you to think anything about yourself. You could come out and see that things need to be dusted and vacuumed. And you could get your cup of coffee and sit down at the table and ruminate over what a slob you are. And won't you ever change? And you could spend 2 or 3 hours there thinking about what all of this means about you. On the other hand, you could get your cup of coffee, have a drink, set it on the counter, go and get your dust cloth, and 15 minutes later, have it cleaned up and be able to have another sip of coffee and grab the vacuum cleaner and maybe 30 minutes later, have that taken care of without having given one iota of consciousness to an assessment of you. And so in 45 minutes, everything could be sparkling and you could be happy. The best way you can love yourself, which is really your question, how can I love myself better, is by not having yourself on your mind as much and paying attention to the obvious and addressing the obvious in the now without delaying, so that you might have the joy and the satisfaction of a task well done and nothing present to cause you to have to go on an internal witch hunt of self-discovery. You see what I'm saying? The best way you can love yourself is to give yourself a little bit less attention than you're giving, negatively speaking. And to attend to the cleaning up of little things that need to be taken care of and that you're quite capable of taking care of. Oh my God, there's dust everywhere. What's the meaning of this? Well, the meaning of it is that everywhere on earth dust settles. And every now and then it needs to be cleaned up. That's all the meaning there is to it. Has nothing whatsoever to do with you, you see. So don't get your nose into areas that are none of your business or have nothing to do with you. I think you've got the message, and it goes a little bit further than what you brought out in your question. Okay.
We have a question from David. I've been reading the ACIMs for 20 years. I have stopped work and concentrated on the workbook twice, managing about half of the course each time. The original motivation for doing this was not really anything to do with wanting to experience God, but to get rid of my ego, which has been quite persecutory. The last time it led to an experience where the words of the book started to speak without my having to make any effort. A flow of words that I knew was going to lead to an experience of God. I stopped this from happening. And my question is, the course works, but if you are not ready for such an experience, maybe it's better to do some other kind of preparatory work. Or should I say, what work could I do that will make me ready for such an experience?
Well, turning away from the light when you begin to see the light is not intelligent. I could suggest that maybe you read more slowly when you don't want to learn too much too fast, but in a way I jest with you. My point is, you won't let in what you won't let in. But don't leave the arena in which the opportunity to have something to let in presents itself. Stay in the environment where the potential is for a miracle, a sudden shift of perception. You will waste time on unnecessary side trips to explore something else when what you have in your hands is what works. Don't worry. No sudden shifts of perception can be forced on you. So it is not dangerous to be in an environment where a miracle can occur. You are safe there until you're ready to let more in. Okay.
Our next question is from Connie. Thanks, Raj. I feel like I'm losing courage, not to mention faith. And I blame myself for not being able to get still in order to drink from the well, so to speak. It feels like a crisis. What's happening?
Very simply, you've come to a point in your growth where you have tasted the water of life, I will say, enough to recognize that you want it, and enough to recognize that without it, you can't be comfortable. You're at a point of transition where you've gone too far to go back. And yet, you're attempting to not move forward, which causes you to feel a sense of emergency because you're trying to stay in a place that you used to be comfortable. A frame of mind, a set of mindsets, and they're not comfortable anymore. They're more uncomfortable than they ever were, and that's because you've tasted of what is of value. It isn't that anything is of any greater emergency than it ever was. It's just that you are very conscious of the fact that it isn't satisfying to be stuck there. It's not even comfortable. Now, you're going to have to find the time to get still. And the fact is you do have time. But you're going to have to use some discipline and take the time. Take the time to be still so that you might be in the environment where the water of life can fill you and move you further forward. You know too much to be comfortable in your old ways. That is good news. It's not the problem. It's the solution to the problem. It simply means that you're at a point where persistence and diligence and commitment must be brought into play to continue forward. Okay.
The next question is from Stefan. First, sorry for my bad English. Sometimes, when I did a meditation in the afternoon, I would wake up in the night with a very fundamental fear, a feeling like I had lost my body, and I had to connect immediately my body with my soul. Then it manifests itself as a great fear within myself. What should I do when I feel this fear?
first of all, recognize it as an indicator of positive shift in your experience. The meditation is causing you to be where adjustment can take place. And as adjustment takes place, the movement of things that you thought would never move makes you feel as though suddenly you lack security. But all there is to the movement is a reconfiguration in what I will call a more intelligent orderliness, which you must dare to allow to happen. Now, your soul and your body cannot be separated. The connection is eternal. Your body is the visibility and tangibility of your soul. It's that simple. It's like the color of gold and gold are inseparable. So, when you feel the need for grounding, which is what you're speaking of, when you want to get rid of the feeling of disconnect between your soul and body, the grounding there is necessary, and you do whatever you need to reestablish that experience of connection, of groundedness. But do not resent or be afraid of the insecurity that you find yourself feeling when something that you thought was permanently stable moves into a state of flux, in a process of reconfiguration that manifests a higher level of order. That is what is happening. You do not need to be afraid of it. And I thank you for your question.
The next question is from Mark. My son is waiting to move to Canada and find work there. Is this going to happen soon, or is he just working in the wrong work area? Or should he be doing something else? Thank you.
No, it is appropriate for him to continue to persist to find work in Canada and pursue that. That's the end of the answer.
The next question is from Steph. A couple of years ago, I received several specific messages from you. The first message was, love and fear are different brims, and you have to choose the brim.
The what?
The brim, B-R-I-M.
Mm-hmm.
The second message contained one word, competition. I feel I've assimilated and heeded these messages appropriately, and I feel I'm waking up gracefully. Without sounding too vague, I'd like to ask, how am I doing, and is there any particular guidance you can give?
You have heard well, and you are moving forward well, and you are not in any way significantly blocking shifts of perception. You are devoted. There is a devotion there that is aimed in the right direction, which allows for grace to occur so that your forward movement is not unnecessarily strenuous. We rejoice with you as you move forward. Keep up the good work. It is time to call it a day for today. We will have another online gathering 2 months from now on the third Saturday of the month. That would be the third Saturday of April. I am very happy we have this means of joining together, and I look forward to being with you again. Thank you.